Hi, good morning. Myself, Sandeep Luthra, and I'm the founder of Application Uni. Our goal is to democratize and digitalize the overseas education industry. So we are really focusing on a problem which is, uh, in overseas education industry. So this market is growing at an incredibly fast pace. So it is growing at more than 270% right now. So the major markets that we have for Indian students is like the first preference is Canada, then Australia, then UK, and as on the different countries. So I would like to just mention here, like specifically, if you talk about, we've been running an Indian education travel company in the name of AAI, and we have been making more than 3,600 students travel outside India, so to different countries like to the US, to Canada. We've been doing Oxford International Group tours, as you can see in the picture. So our company was established for breaking down the barriers of culture, language, and geography for Indian students. And pre-COVID, we were making a revenue of around more than $300,000. So if you talk about myself, I'm the founder and I'm a graduate from Bristol Business School, UK, and I've worked in Royal Bank of Scotland, as well as I was representing Bristol Business School. I've worked 1.5 years with Bristol Business School. So as the picture mentions, we have been doing NASA programs, we've been doing student exchange programs, and this is what we have been doing for more than a decade now. So we have a very strong presence in more than 500 high schools in India, and uh, now I'll focus on Application Uni. So that's a startup. We started during the COVID, during the pandemic period, and right now we see a biggest problem is there's no transparent platform for international students across the globe. So we really want to focus on the Indian market because that's the biggest for that's the biggest market, like the market for international overseas education students. And if you talk about the current process, so before the process, I'll just mention more about AAI, so the education travel company. We have been certified by United Nations. We have been certified by Oxford International Group, Twin Group, Toronto Metropolitan University, and I have successfully graduated from Australian High Commission as a counselor. So if you talk about the market analysis, there are more than 646,000 students who study in overseas countries like Canada, and that's the most preferred country basically. So if you talk about the growth, it's like more than 273%, and the forecast projects, it's 1.8 million students, Indian students, will be in abroad by 2024, and total number of spending, if you talk about it, it'll be more than US dollar 75 billion dollars. So uh, if you talk about the current process, the student goes to the agent, any of the counselors based out of India, and then the agent have very limited universities options or colleges options. So they only prefer to give those options in terms of which are providing the highest commission, basically. So the options are very limited with a couple of agents. So if the student is going to them, that student has just a limited options. uh, if you talk about the transparency, there's very less transparency right now, and the students lack with the IELTS or PTE examination. Technically, that's the research by the Cambridge, because we work very closely with Cambridge University Press, who are actually the paper designers for IELTS. So we've been working very closely with them. So we got to know about these primary, you can say, a primary research done by them, that more than 50% of the exam takers repeat the exam. So, by working with the schools and starting early, we will be able to, cope up with this problem. And if you talk about the evaluation, we really want to focus on profile creation, not just evaluation of the profile of the student. So when I say profile creation, because we'll be meeting the students at the school level at a very early age. So maybe in 8th standard or 9th standard. So we'll be like 15 or 16. So we will reckon that, there's huge scope of, certifications to be done, and, they can even apply for the scholarship. So we'll get a hold of those students at an early age at the high schools. So the solution, as I mentioned, so what we want to do is, students are in the high schools and we are already connected with more than 500 high schools. So we would, Application Uni, if you talk about a successful marketplace, so we, this can technically change the whole model. So how we are changing the model is going to the high schools, which is the source of the students, and starting at an early age, opening up IELTS and PT centers within the high schools. And we would further give the students an entire universe of options of the universities. So it's not just restricted to maybe 2, 3, 4. We would give maybe hundreds of universities. So we are day by day, we are increasing the number of contracts signed up with the universities, and parallelly we are working with a lot of high schools here in India. So that's the process. So basically, if I give you a little bit of screenshots of the the app, or I can say the app development is going on, and it's 70-80% ready. But the platform on the website is 100% ready, and these are a couple of screenshots of the of the website to check the eligibility. So student goes on it. If you see, says check eligibility, the student will be asked a couple of questions, and it'll take less than 4 minutes, 5 minutes, and the student would get the exact result of which all universities and which all programs he or she is eligible for. And the student doesn't have to go on different websites to search about different universities, what are the application fee, what are the work permit rights, or related to the fee structures. Do the universities provide particular programs? So they don't have to go on the different websites. They can just come on our website and they will get the whole lot of information. So coming to the solution, the benefits, if you talk about the major benefit, is it is efficient and transparent system to check the eligibility, as I mentioned. The students, because of our education travel business, the students will get the opportunity to visit Canadian colleges and universities. We provide the world-class IELTS English language trainings in the schools with the support of different organizations like Cambridge, British Council. So we have been working with them for many years now. So we are taking their, what do we call, the support of the people who have been working, and they will hire the trainers with us, and we will be using all the literature that Cambridge and British Council has. So as a part of the school, we would be able to create the profiles as early, because we are getting the students at a very early age. So if you talk about the university or the college benefits, that's an excellent platform for students' data, because when you go into high school, we would get like near about 1,500, 2,000 students in one institution. Of course, they're not ready for overseas education, but they are future clients, because as initially I mentioned, like 67% of Indian middle class wants to send their kids abroad. So if you talk about the 67%, it'll be like a huge number. So university visibility goes high when you go to the high schools. It maximizes their brand equity. So yeah, now coming to a very important point about the competitive analysis. I'm sure because everybody knows here about Apply Board. They have the current valuation of this company. It's a Canadian organization, and the valuation is like $3.2 billion. So, and they have grown in the past 7 years. I think we have a little ahead, because as an Indian organization and being into education travel, having connects with more than 500 schools already in India, that's our expertise, and that's the innovation in doing the business. So that's where we lie, and that's the biggest strength that we have. So what is the go-to-market strategy? It's very simple. Going to the existing schools where we already have our tie-ups. We will open up IELTS centers and get the support in terms of from the principals or the owners of those high schools and couple of universities also. We have already made 3,600 students travel, so we have the data of those students in the past, like who have traveled, and that's our target audience. Post that, parallelly, as we are into a marketplace where parallelly we have to grow, so we are definitely growing every 2 days, 3 days. We are getting a new university or college contract. So we are already tied up with more than 17 Canadian colleges and universities. I'll give you the logos and a little bit more information through the logos of those universities and colleges. And 30 plus we have in Australia, in Canada. So about the seminars, we'll be conducting seminars, and also we'll be focusing on online promotion. So if you talk about the traction, we already have the existing relationships with more than 548 schools. That's state-wise, we have mentioned. To give you a brief, because not in India, we have been working on education travel. If you see, there's GEMS Group, GEMS International Schools. They're based out of Middle East, so they have a couple of schools in India. They have a couple of schools, I'll not say couple. They have more than 50 high schools in the Middle East. So we have been working with them for like 6-7 years now. And these are a couple of logos, like Manav Rachana is a big institution. They have their schools. They have a university here. Modern School, it's one of the heritage schools. MB Patel, they're based out of Gujarat. So like these, we have 500 more, I would say. So there's a couple of, to show you a snapshot that this is what we have been doing in the past decade. So as earlier I mentioned about the tie-ups with international universities, so UNBC, Toronto Metropolitan University, just to mention here, with TMU, Toronto Metropolitan, we have already, in commitments of getting exclusivity for educational tours. So technically, we are the first one to get a contract signed up with Toronto Metropolitan University, and most probably we would have more than 40 students traveling this year in the month of June in the summer vacations with the Toronto Metropolitan University. So these are a couple of universities, and that's it. We are decently doing good. And about the if you talk about the numbers in travel, we are focusing 360 students. We were doing pre-pandemic, we were doing a decent numbers. We've been doing a sales of more than $300,000. So we are focusing a little higher, because post investment, we are expecting this numbers to go up, and half the number we are looking for as a study overseas applications. So for travel, that's the revenue, 1.2 million, and we decently make near about 9% or around 10% of the profits. And in the commissions, if you talk about the total fees paid by 180 students, will be $300,000, and we would make this as a commission, because that's the 10% at least the university pays to their agents. So in this model, in study overseas, we don't charge anything for our counseling sessions or anything. We don't charge. So technically, we are getting the commission from the international partners. So funding requirement, it's very straightforward, that we would need $75,000 for our SUV applications, and we are definitely looking for non-financial resources and introduction to colleges and universities for our growth of our marketplace. So I would suggest, if this presentation finds you interesting, please join me for the deep dive in next week, and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks, and God bless you guys. Thank you.